we don't promote positive and ownership of your company. I'm making it cool to be smart.
What's going on with all my billionaires out there? This the guy, Hoods Billionaire. Welcome to Hoods Billionaire TV. Big favor, big abundance. It's cool to be smart. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Big Meech being free and released from federal prison, man. Let's talk about it. It's actually pretty big. So, the Black Mafia family, aka BMF co-founder Big Meech, has been released from federal prison. Demetrius Big Meech Flannery was transferred Tuesday from FCI Coleman Low End Wildwood to community confinement ran by the BOP's Miami Residential Reentry Management Office. Okay, so this boy coming out to a Miami halfway house. That's some Big Meech. That's some Big Meech stuff right there. This boy coming to a Miami halfway house. So he currently finished up the rest of his sentence in the halfway house. Meech, who everybody knows, was arrested in 2005. He got sentenced in 2008 to 30 years on charges related to drug trafficking and money laundering. Okay, so Big Meech ran BMF. The boy was getting money. You know what I mean? The boys really had a big influential impact on the culture. I'm not necessarily agreeing with drug dealing and money laundering and stuff like that. Like, I'm not on board saying that those are good things, but what I am going to say is that Meech had great leadership skills. Definitely knew how to run a business. You know what I mean? And probably would have been successful in anything that he did. So if you take anything away from it, just his leadership qualities, you know what I mean, as a leader and a entrepreneur, it's definitely something you got to look at and be like, man, okay, that was big. So one of Meech's attorneys, a lady by the name of Brittany K. Barnett, who's the founder of the Buried Alive Project, pretty much getting black men who in jail for, or I don't know if it's necessarily just straight black men. I think it's black men who are in jail for nonviolent crimes, who've been like heavily sentenced and heavily charged for nonviolent crimes, trying to get a lot of those guys out. So she got his sentence reduced by 3 years. So he should be done. He should be completely released out the halfway house, completely done with his sentence by no later than January of 2026. So I think that's the latest that he'll get out. 50 Cent, we all know 50. He made the series BMF, starring Big Meech's son, Lil Meech, who I'm sure he's excited. They all excited. I'm sure 50 excited. We probably gonna see him on an episode of The Power, I'm sure, now going into, I'm not Power, BMF, going into that 4th season. And then both of the Flannery boys are out because Meech's brother, Southwest T, he was released in 2020 for medical reasons involving COVID. They were scared and worried about his overall health while during that COVID outbreak. So they went ahead and let him out on his release. So now he's out, man. And then, the culture, right? A lot of these guys that grew up with Meech, that came, or I'm not going to say grew up with Meech, but had ties to Meech, are out and thriving, right? Like a young Jeezy, like T.I., like Nelly, like Gucci Mane. All these guys used to party with Big Meech. All of them cool with Big Meech. You know what I'm saying? And have professed how cool they are with Big Meech. Especially Jeezy, right? T.I. also as well. Nelly also as well. You know what I mean? Gucci Mane also as well. Diddy, another guy. Diddy used to hang with Big Meech a lot. You know what I mean? In his Atlanta days. That's documented, man. That's documented. So that's crazy. Meech getting let out, Diddy going in. That's crazy. And they used to kick, like, they were cool. You know what I mean? Not on no drug dealing tip, but Meech has said multiple times, like, Diddy is one of his entertainment friends, and they were cool. I remember he was talking one time that he was saying, like, somebody like Diddy not more liquid than him. He was like, they worth a lot of money, but they not liquid like I am. I could go take $1 million cash, just throw it out the window. It won't even mean nothing to me. That's how much money that boy Meech was getting. That's how much money he was getting. That boy say he could take $1 million, throw it out the window. It wouldn't even mean nothing to him. But all of them guys, I'm sure, if I'm just being realistic, a lot of Meech gonna come out to being on his feet. A lot of people gonna want to be next to him. a lot of people are gonna want to be around him. So I mean, just he has just so many different ways that he can go. I'm sure it's gonna be a lot of bags waiting on him. You know what I mean? The BMF, just the BMF check alone, you know what I'm saying? That's probably waiting on him. I know Jeezy probably got some bread for him. T.I. just won a $71 million lawsuit. I know he got some bread for him. Nelly just sold his catalog for like $50 million. I know he probably got some bread for him. Gucci Mane, he doing really well. Keisha Cole, I'm sure he probably got some bread for him. You know what I'm saying? If Diddy was out, I'm sure he'd have some bread for him. Rick Ross, who made the hit song BMF, I'm sure he got some bread for him. So it's a lot of, he probably, I'm just being realistic, he probably gonna come home to a couple million just off of niggas just looking out for him. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he definitely don't really have to necessarily worry about that. His second in command, you know what I mean, J-Bo, who I believe is dealing with some type of criminal situation with some PPP stuff or something along them lines. I don't know if he out right now or if he's still fighting that, but I mean, once he is done with that, J-Bo will be in a better situation. Meech will be here with a full head of steam. He could put plays in place. I feel like that all the guys that was originally with him can eat off of. You know what I mean? So I think that'll be good for everybody. Just him being there, just him being out. Shout out to Meech, man. Like I said, BMF was legendary. Me being originally from St. Louis, BMF was heavily in the St. Louis area, like in those, early 2000s, you know what I mean, stuff like that. J-Bo used to go to the shop that my homeboy mama owned. Like that wasn't no unrare thing, Fabulous in town, and you know what I'm saying, they at our clubs and stuff like that. Like they definitely were there. That impact was definitely real. Them boys definitely was getting that bag. And just real flossy. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, man. That's kind of one of the reasons I'm a super healthy person. Well, I can't just say that. I think that's just naturally in me to shine. I just like shining. You know what I mean? And I've always just naturally liked champagne. But it didn't hurt when you were just seeing like bosses pop champagne in your young developing ages and everybody iced up. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie and act like that didn't have an influence on me. When you see it in real life, it's like, oh, okay, wow. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's just naturally in me. But big cultural impact. Y'all hear people rap about Meech all the time. I mean, for his name to stay alive for 20 years, that just gotta show you how big of an impact he had. Definitely one of them ones, man. And I think everybody gonna welcome home with open arms, man. He gonna have a lot to look forward to. He's still fairly young. I think he in his early 50s. So I mean, he's not even like he's an old man. He in his early 50s. And he, gonna be in a good space. That, just to put that in contrast, that boy Diddy going in his early 50s. You see what I'm saying? So, Meech out, he can enjoy life and be happy, man. And I just wish him nothing but the best. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. This the guy who's billionaire. Big favor, big abundance. It's cool to be smart. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. This the guy who's billionaire. Big favor, big abundance. I'm gone.